Today, we take you to the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit in New York City, where so far the topic of regulation is front and center. Fed Chair Jerome Powell talks crypto in front of lawmakers on Capitol Hill. And Martin Leinweber of MarketVector Indexes breaks down what's driving prices as Bitcoin pops above $30,000. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanae McKeel at the inaugural Coinbase State of Crypto Summit in Manhattan. And I'm going to tell you about everything going on at this conference in just a bit. But first, let's take a look at the markets. Crypto prices are in the green again today, with Bitcoin trading close to $30,000 for a second straight day. Ether traded close to the $1,900 level, and the Matic token jumped about 1.5%, all as of noon Eastern. The price of Bitcoin popped above $30K yesterday following Fed Chair Powell's comments from Capitol Hill, where he said that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have staying power. The move higher also comes after several recent applications from traditional finance firms like BlackRock for spot Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm here at the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit, where regulation and the macro landscape are some of the topics in focus. Institutional investors, corporations, policymakers, and academics are all here to assess the current state of the crypto economy, and they couldn't have a better setup for it. Earlier this month, the SEC sued Coinbase for allegedly violating securities laws. Despite Bitcoin's roughly 80% year-to-date gain, the industry has been beaten down by pressure from U.S. regulators. Now, we heard from CEO Brian Armstrong today here at the conference. He said things are business as usual as the firm goes through the process with the SEC. He also said that he believes the U.S. will get regulation of crypto businesses right, adding that Coinbase is committed to helping make that happen. You'd think he would need to soothe concerns, but investor sentiment has been upbeat since late last week when BlackRock filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. That signaled to the world that it sees a place for Bitcoin in an investment portfolio. And that move also opened the floodgates for others like WisdomTree, Invesco, and Valkyrie to follow. So with that in mind, Bitcoin is up about 14% this week, and you can really feel that energy in the building here today. It's a mostly institutional audience of about 450 people here. Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, BlackRock, all set to take the stage to discuss tokenization. That's been a hot topic for institutions this year, as we know. Bernstein just this week identifying it as a $5 trillion opportunity for crypto. All right, next, Fed Chair Jay Powell testified before the Senate Banking Committee today, one day after he testified before the House Committee on Financial Services, where he argued that the central bank should not have a weak role on stablecoins. Take a listen.
We do see payment stablecoins as a form of money, and in all advanced economies, the ultimate source of credibility in money is the central bank, and we believe that it would be appropriate to have quite a robust federal role in what happens in stablecoins going forward, and that leaving us with a weak role and allowing a lot of private money creation at the state level would be a mistake.
Finally, Ripple receives a major payment institution license in Singapore. The crypto company said it received in-principle approval for the license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the country's central bank. The license allows Ripple to offer regulated digital payment token products and services. It also allows the firm to expand customers' use of Ripple's native token, XRP. Ripple said a majority of its global on-demand liquidity transactions flow through Singapore, which serves as the company's regional Asia-Pacific headquarters. The development comes as Ripple continues to spar with the SEC over a lawsuit. All right, we turn back to markets and regulatory developments in crypto for our main story. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Martin Leinweber of MarketVector Indexes for his take on what's driving prices right now amid the backdrop of increased interest in digital assets from financial incumbents and the SEC's crackdown on exchanges.
Sentiment has been high in crypto since late last week when BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, filed an application for what would be the first ever spot Bitcoin ETF in the US. Since then, WisdomTree and Invesco also filed submissions with the SEC for their own spot Bitcoin ETFs. What do you think this all signals?
Well, I think it's a super bullish statement, yeah. And I think the market is just surprised about this huge swing between the bearishness of last week and now the bullishness. Yeah, so all of a sudden you have an unexpected filing of BlackRock, and others will follow. And I think it's an all clear signal for other parties to say, okay, BlackRock, the largest asset manager, is filing for Bitcoin. Then they should know something. and the market is speculating on that. And you see it that everything is so focused on Bitcoin right now. Yeah, so Bitcoin is trading on large volumes on the spot market. So contrary to some media reports, it wasn't really about a short squeeze. And what stood out was that entities adjacent to Bitcoin, so like the GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and crypto stocks such as Marathon Digital, Riot, MicroStrategy, all outperformed Bitcoin. And why? Because many institutions, hedge funds, and family offices have limited access to spot Bitcoin, or can only invest in a restricted amount of capital into it. And so they are front running these news. So they are buying these proxies instead. And so I think if it gets approved, it could really a big thing, and also increase the adoption of the crypto market.
Bitcoin has struggled to break out of a narrow trading range this quarter, but this week traded above the $30,000 level as more financial institutions have signaled their commitment to crypto. In fact, we learned this week that the crypto exchange backed by Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and Citadel officially launched trading in 4 crypto assets, including Bitcoin and Ether. Do you think developments like this are driving prices right now? What do you think is the main factor?
Well, the EDX thing, that's a pretty interesting one, because it's focusing on prime target audience are institutions. Yeah. So they are offering an API-based trading access instead of a standard user interface. And EDX is clearly catering to these big players, showing an innovative and thoughtful approach. And so also what's interesting is that a lot of large players are backing EDX. Yeah, again, Citadel, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. So I think what's eye-catching is that suddenly, really, the large brand names are coming out, especially after this heavy week last week, where the SEC was hammering down everything, yeah, every crypto player, and suddenly you see the large established institutional players coming in. And I also would say, don't forget, liquidity is still very tight in the crypto market. So if you want to play this rally, I mean, the filings is focused on Bitcoin. If you look at tokens traded at EDX, it's also very limited. And again, Bitcoin. So it's normal at the beginning of these rallies that a lot of trading is focused on the number one. And you also see that if you look at the Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. So it's the market cap of Bitcoin compared to the total crypto market cap. And it also broke out of a trading range we had for a very long time. So we are over 50% and rising. And that indicates me that people are focusing now on the largest brand name and also on the most liquid one. That's normal at the beginning of these market rallies.
You're speaking to us from Germany, which is a member of the European Union, of course, and recently EU lawmakers approved the world's first comprehensive framework for crypto regulation. We have seen many crypto firms in the US pursue efforts to expand overseas following regulatory developments abroad, and of course, amid the heightened crackdown on crypto companies here in the US by the SEC. For example, back in April, before Coinbase was officially sued by the SEC, CEO Brian Armstrong indicated that he would consider moving his exchange's headquarters to the UK if the US does not provide more regulatory clarity. What do you think is going to happen there? Do you see more crypto firms moving overseas amid this backdrop?
I think we are still we are seeing it already. So with MiCA in place or effective next year, sometime next year, I think you have a large region, over 450 million citizens there, where you have a safe regulatory background. You know which licenses you need or which disclosures you have to do in order to do business there. So with this EU passporting, you can suddenly reach a huge amount of investors. Yeah. So overall, markets hate uncertainty, and that's what you have with the SEC at the having said that, I think what the SEC has done, fighting against everybody, suing all the large players, maybe leads to momentum that they are forced to bring even earlier clarity, because I can imagine that a lot of lawyers are knocking at the SEC's doors every day. So it really depends on, do we get some momentum with this BlackRock filing? Is the SEC bringing more clarity? Also, what it means really, what a security is or not. But I think what we are already seeing, that you mentioned it with Coinbase, they are looking for other places. And Europe at the moment is, I think, the safest place to be, with the largest audience you can possibly approach at the moment.
So overall, what is your outlook for crypto, specifically as it pertains to prices?
That's the $1 million question, right? So I think what I just can say is that the movement we are seeing at the moment is very constructive. And what it's good for the whole adoption is that whether you like it or not, whether you like BlackRock or not, or the other large players we mentioned, just from a crypto native perspective, we just increase the adoption. And if we want to have higher prices going forward, we need an increase in this adoption, and we need also institutional money allocating to that space. And that will just happen if we get the grown-ups into the room, meaning that the large established player we know have their fair share in this market. So overall, I think since this week, it's constructive what's happening. I mean, it's still a long way to get to the all-time highs, but I think people should focus more on what is happening at the moment, what the large players are doing, instead of what the SEC is saying at the moment.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today from the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit, but we'll be back again tomorrow. We'll see you then.